Hey everybody, I'm going to go ahead and get started now. Wanted to just quickly introduce myself. I'm Jamie McDonald. I am the Vice President of Business Development here at the Game Agency, and I want to thank you all for joining today. Today we are going to be talking about analytics. So this is part of our 15-minute quick webinar series where people can hop on and learn about specific topics of the training arcade that may be of interest for the audience. So, you know, analytics are so important when it comes to understanding the performance of your learners. Oftentimes I have talked to people and I find out that they're doing very little to track data in their learning and their training. Sometimes they use 5-question quizzes at the end of the learning. Sometimes they use surveys, but there's really not a lot of data collected. And games provide so much rich data that can really help you understand individual learning, group learning, and even behavioral trends. So today we're here to talk about the analytics dashboard, which is part of the Training Arcade platform. You know, the goal of learning really is to understand learner performance. So not just give them an opportunity to interact with your content, but how well did they actually do with it? So what I'm going to show you today is the platform that we've built. And if some of you on here are not familiar with the Training Arcade, to give you a quick background about what the product is, it is a subscription-based SaaS solution. It's a do-it-yourself game builder tool, and it has built-in games. There's 7 games in the arcade today. There's another game launching in the next couple weeks. And as the administrator or subscriber of the platform, you are the one who actually gets to log in and see you know, or build all the games that you want, see all the games you've built, edit them, and more importantly, see all of the analytics. So I'm just going to jump right in now and share my screen and walk you guys through the analytics. So hopefully everyone here, whoops, hang on one second. Where did my analytics go? Sorry about that. Okay. So what you're all looking at right now is the back end of our platform. So if you were a subscriber, you'd be logged in and you would see everything that you're looking at here. You'd see the analytics, you'd see leaderboards, you'd see all the games you've ever built before, you'd be able to build new games. But today, of course, we're talking about analytics. So I'm going to click on analytics here, and you'll see up at the top that you can go in and look at the analytics of any game you've ever built. For purposes of today, I just picked this tax trivia game. And what you see here is individual player stats on the top, and then down here you have question stats. So question stats gives you a good idea of how everyone did with your data. When it comes to individual learning, you know, what this does for you is it really gives you a glimpse into not only who the person is and their high score, how long they played with each of the games, but also, you know, kind of individual data as it you know, pertains to their learning. So let's just say, for instance, I'm going to look at this person. They only put in initials for this particular game, so I'm going to click into person 1, 2, 3. They played a variety of different sessions. You can go in here and see each session, when they played it, how long they played, what scores they got, how many questions they had, and which questions they got right or wrong. And then you can also dig in even deeper and see, all right, well, how many attempts did it take this person to actually get my data correct? And all of these titles here, you know, are sortable. So you can actually get a good idea when you go in to understand, you know, what metrics worked, what didn't work at a high level. If you want to parse out this data to share it with your colleagues, you can simply just download the data as a CSV file. So I'm just going to show you what that looks like. And there's different files to download. So in this case, I'm just downloading my player stats. So I've downloaded that. Let me give you a good look at what that looks like. Okay, so now you're looking at, let me just move this out of the way. You're looking at each individual player and the rank and everything that you saw earlier today. But if you also scroll down further, you'll see each player, each session they played, each question they answered, and, you know, the duration and whether they got it correct or not. So it gives you, you know, extremely in-depth data about each of those. Or if you want to download the group data, you simply can export that here. And you also have the ability to use the leaderboard function and download data on that user as well. The other way that you can share data is by adding in viewers. So when you subscribe to the Training Arcade platform, you have one administrator that comes with this subscription. You can always add additional administrators, but if you want to just add people as viewers so they can come in and see your data, you can simply go into the user section over here. You can click on add user, and then you can put in their first name, last name, and email, select them as a viewer, and then they would get a welcome invitation so that they'd be able to actually log in to see the data. So there's a lot of great ways to, to share the data, even if you don't want to have the expense of additional users. You can do the same thing with leaderboards, and then you can also download the data there. Another great feature is to be able to custom date range. So let's just say you have a group of learners who are learning in October, and then you're teaching another group of learners on the exact same training content in November, and you wanted to custom date range. You can go here, you can date range it by, today, yesterday, 7 days, all the way out for the whole year. So it's a great way to kind of compare data and see what's working and what's not working. The real benefit of collecting data is to be able to measure the effectiveness of the training, because if you're spending a lot of money, you're not going to get a great ROI, especially if you are a company who may fly out hundreds, if not thousands of people to a live learning event, and then you walk away not really knowing what they learned. Oftentimes, in a live learning environment, people tend to forget about 80% of what they learned within the, first 24 hours of learning. But when you enter games into the mix and you actually use games as the practice playground for the learners, and you kind of break up the content into micro bits and you allow them to play games focused on the content that you just taught them, it's giving them a practice playground. It's making it a really fun and engaging experience for the learner. But then the best part is that all of this data is in real time. So if it's in a live learning environment, let's say everyone plays a game and you tell them to go take a break and get a cup of coffee or something, you have a few minutes to actually check out that data, and they come back into the room, and then you can go back and literally reteach the parts that you missed. Because let's say you look down here at a question, you find out that 70% of your learners missed a question. Well, then you really understand where the gaps in the learning are, and you can go back and reteach and make sure that it's a much more successful learning, better ROI, and in general, get a good taste for what worked and what didn't work. Obviously, games play a really important role in the fact that they keep the learner's attention. They make people really focus on your content and provide an environment that is a longer lasting ability for you to track how people are doing, and more importantly, performance. Now, as I mentioned earlier, there are 7 games in the Training Arcade. Each of those games map to different performance objectives. So if you're already a subscriber and you're looking for that information, certainly reach out. If not, we can always help you understand which games make the most sense for the learning content that you have. And for those of you not familiar with the platform, the games are all web-based, and they're all SCORM compliant. So if you are a company who uses an LMS, you can simply download the games that you make as a SCORM package and upload it into your LMS for your learners to access. The one thing I'll mention about SCORM data, though, is that it's pretty limited. SCORM data captures who the person is, their high score, and what level of completion. And that's really it. Those are limitations on SCORM in general. And that's why we built the data, the analytics dashboard within our platform to be much more robust, so that you can go in and get certain, simple data through your LMS, but everything else would live here. So your administrators would be able to access that and parse it out as necessary. So I think I've covered the bulk of what I wanted to on this call. Again, this is meant to be a short and sweet webinar. I've actually recorded it, so I'll send it out to everybody. But I think what I'm going to do now is take some questions. So if you give me just a minute, I'm going to go to my Q&A and see what kind of questions they pose. So Nikki, you asked a question about do all the users have access to the data, or just the admin? Okay, so guys, the users do not have access to the data. Only the administrator can come in and access this, or anyone else they're sharing the data with. The users will only see how they did at the end of their game. So as a game builder, if you're the one going in and building the games, you can actually set, and I'll show you this right here. You can click on build a game, and in the game info section where you're actually building it out, you'll see here that you have the option of showing the leaderboard or not on the game over screen. If you click yes to that, then the learner will be able to see their final score at the end of the game and how they ranked against the top 10. Another question was, can you customize reports? So absolutely, the platform acts as the platform does, but we have definitely done some customizing of the dashboard for different clients, depending on the needs that they have, if it's outside the realm of what our dashboard covers. So anyone else have questions? I hope that I answered everything for you. Let's see, one more coming in. Okay, another question that was just asked is, would customization be an add-on? So yes, there's a couple different things that we can customize. Obviously, we're talking about analytics here, so we can customize certain parts of the analytics, as I mentioned before, if it's not laid out the way that you want. We also have other customization features, such as single sign-on. So single sign-on is the ability for your users, if they're accessing the games through an LMS, to simply sign on through the LMS and then not have to log on again through the games. We can also do customization of games. So if you want a look and feel to be on brand with your brand guidelines, we certainly could do that as well. We could even help with game building. So sometimes we have clients who have a subscription, but they don't have a large enough team to handle the game builds. So we can actually take that on for you. We can build games for you. We can consult for you on which games make the most sense for your learning content. And we could even do any instructional design if that's necessary for you guys. So it looks like we have 1 minute left. If anyone else has another question, please feel free to ask. And if not, I'm just going to quickly put my contact information up here for you guys to see. So if you need to reach out to me, please feel free to call me or email. Again, I will send the recording out for you. Certainly feel free to share with your teams. And the last thing I'll leave you with is that if you don't already have a subscription to the Training Arcade, we do offer a free trial. So you can simply go to thetrainingarcade.com, and in the upper right corner, you'll see start your free trial. It's a 14-day trial. It gives you the opportunity to get your hands on the tool. You can build sample games yourself. You can test them out internally, check out how the data works and flows. You can even test SCORM packages within your LMS. So that's it. Thanks again, you guys. We're excited to be doing another webinar next Wednesday, 1 p.m. Eastern, which is all about the security of the Training Arcade platform. So thanks again. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.